Superfly looked like a movie about winning, about style, power, and beating the game on your own terms. But behind those fur coats and custom cars lived secrets darker and more human than anything on screen. This video is full of revelations that will change how you see this 1972 classic. Stay to the very end, because the final secret is the one nobody ever tells. The list starts now. Number 1. The secret identity of young blood priest. The man who played the coolest outlaw of a generation was about as far from a street hustler as you could get. Before a single frame of Superfly was shot, Ron O'Neal was a serious, award-winning stage actor with nearly a decade of classical training behind him. He grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, shaped by family hardship. His life changed when a friend took him to Karamu House, the oldest African-American theater company in the United States. O'Neal spent 8 years there, performing everything from A Raisin in the Sun to A Streetcar Named Desire. But stage work paid almost nothing, so he spent his days house painting and his evenings chasing his craft. He moved to New York City, but the rejections kept coming. He lost a Shakespearean role, hated a part in the Sidney Poitier film The Organization, and was passed over for Shaft because producers felt his skin was too light. His breakthrough finally came through an off-Broadway play, No Place to Be Somebody, where his performance as a dangerous bar owner earned him an Obie Award, one of theater's highest honors. That award put him on the radar of Philip Fenty, who had already written the part of young blood priest specifically for O'Neal. What O'Neal couldn't have known was that the very talent that made him celebrated was about to become a cage. Number 2. Okay, The Golden Cage and the failed escape Superfly was made for under $500,000, financed by a group of black businessmen from Harlem, including 2 dentists. It exploded at the box office, earning over $30 million. Ron O'Neal became an international star overnight, but the fame came with controversy. The NAACP condemned the film for glorifying drug dealers, and the criticism cut deep. O'Neal pushed back, arguing that Superfly was powerful because it finally showed a black man outsmarting the system. He joked that critics were upset because Priest walked away with his money instead of ending up dead. Troubled enough to act, he agreed to direct and star in a sequel, Superfly TNT, with a mission to fix the film's message. He moved Priest out of Harlem and into Africa, repositioning the character as a freedom fighter. The movie was filmed in Rome. It was sincere. It was also a complete disaster. The sequel stripped away everything audiences had loved: the danger, the style, the tension of Harlem streets. Without those elements, viewers stayed home. The message was clear. People didn't want Ron O'Neal as a righteous hero. They wanted young blood priest, the untouchable hustler. The Golden Cage had snapped shut, and he would spend the next 3 decades trying to break free. If you are enjoying this, take 2 seconds and leave a like. Subscribe if you want more videos like this. That support really motivates my work and helps a lot with bringing more content. Number 3. The voice she fought to find. In Superfly, Sheila Frasier played Georgia, poised, beautiful, completely in control. But most fans never knew the personal battle she fought just to deliver those lines. For most of her young life, Frasier struggled with a severe stutter. The dream of becoming an actress felt genuinely impossible. At 17, she moved to New York City anyway, working as a secretary to get by. A chance encounter on the subway led to modeling work, but the attention made her uncomfortable. The turning point came through Richard Roundtree, the man who played Shaft, who encouraged her to audition for the Negro Ensemble Company. There, she discovered something remarkable. When she fully committed to playing a character, her stutter disappeared. Acting wasn't just her passion, it was her cure. Just 5 months later, she auditioned for Superfly and won the lead female role. Every scene she filmed as Georgia was a private victory that no one in the audience could have guessed. Number 4. The Hollywood power player. Nobody saw coming after Superfly, Sheila Frasier kept acting through the 1970s. 3 the Hard Way, Dallas, The Love Boat. But as the 1980s arrived, she made a quiet move that defined the rest of her career. She stepped behind the camera. In 1982, she joined Richard Pryor's production company, Indigo Productions, as a story editor, the person deciding which scripts deserved to become films. One of the notable decisions made during her time there was passing on the script for Purple Rain. From there, she moved to Essence Magazine's television division, then to Black Entertainment Television. For 13 years, Sheila Frasier ran BET's talent department, one of the most important gatekeeping positions in black media history. She shaped who got a platform, what the network sounded like, and what its future looked like. While her male co-stars were either trapped by their famous roles or fading from view, she was building a lasting legacy in the rooms where real decisions get made. Her story is one of quiet triumph. Number 5. The mentor who became a Bond villain. Julius Harris played Scatter, Priest's wise, retired mentor. He had a gravity on screen that felt completely earned, and there was a good reason for that. Harris didn't step in front of a movie camera until he was 41 years old. Before acting, he'd lived a genuinely varied life. Born in Philadelphia to a musician father and a cotton club dancer mother, he served as a medic in World War II, worked as a licensed nurse, and spent his nights bouncing at jazz clubs in New York City. His first film role came in 1964. After Superfly, he achieved something none of his co-stars managed: actual mainstream Hollywood stardom. In 1973, just 1 year after playing Scatter, he appeared as T-He in the James Bond film Live and Let Die. With his menacing laugh and a metal hook for a hand, he became one of the most memorable Bond villains in franchise history. From Army medic to Harlem mentor to global Bond villain, Julius Harris lived a life built entirely from unexpected chapters. Number 6. The soundtrack that outgrossed the movie. Here's a fact about Superfly that almost nobody mentions. Curtis Mayfield's soundtrack made more money than the film itself. The movie generated roughly $4 million in profit. Mayfield's album brought in around $5 million, making it one of the first soundtracks in Hollywood history to outgross its own source material. The strategy behind it was revolutionary. Mayfield's label released the album a full 90 days before the film hit theaters. By the time Superfly opened in August 1972, audiences were already singing along to every track. Music journalist Michael Gonzalez recalled watching the film in a Harlem theater where the audience hummed, mouthed lyrics, and sang aloud during the actual movie. 2 singles, Freddy's Dead and the title track Superfly, both cracked the pop top 10 and sold over 1 million copies each. That wave of momentum helped Superfly briefly become the highest grossing film in the country, which sets up one of the most remarkable box office upsets of the decade, coming later in this list. Number 7. The script that was half a movie long. The original screenplay for Superfly was only 45 pages long. Standard Hollywood scripts run between 90 and 120 pages. Fenty's script should have produced a 45-minute movie. Superfly runs for 91 minutes. Director Gordon Parks Jr. solved the problem by leaning into long, atmospheric sequences of Priest simply moving through the world, walking through Harlem, riding elevators, cruising in his Cadillac, while Curtis Mayfield's score played underneath. What could have felt like padding became the film's most distinctive visual identity. Those wordless sequences gave audiences an unfiltered look at early 1970s New York, the street life, the neighborhood energy, the physical texture of a world mainstream cinema had never bothered to document. The creative solution to a practical problem accidentally created the visual template that would define the entire blaxploitation genre. Sometimes the constraint is the gift. Number 8. The real pimp behind Priest's Cadillac. The 1971 customized Cadillac Eldorado that Priest cruises through Harlem wasn't a Hollywood prop. It belonged to a real Harlem pimp named KC. Costume designer Nate Adams spotted the car in a hotel lobby and made a deal. KC would lend the vehicle in exchange for a small acting role. The car had been transformed by Les Dunham Coach Works with custom headlight covers, a Rolls-Royce-style hood ornament, lake pipes, and circular porthole windows. KC initially accused Adams of lying. He flat out didn't believe any African Americans were actually making movies. Despite his skepticism, he followed through and appears as a pimp in a nightclub scene. The Cadillac became so iconic, it launched a nationwide customization trend throughout the 1970s. And KC's famous car, it eventually met a fate that was almost poetically ironic. We'll get to that later. Before we keep going, subscribe if you haven't yet. Drop a comment telling me which movie Or show you want me to cover next with strange behind-the-scenes facts. I read every single one. Number 9. The cast member fresh out of prison. Charles McGregor played Fat Freddy, the nervous, unlucky dealer who gets caught and betrays Priest. His performance felt raw in a way that was hard to explain. There was a reason for that. McGregor had spent 28 years in and out of state prisons for committing 2 murders. He was released not long before filming began. The authenticity he brought to Fat Freddy came from genuine hardship and survival in the harshest possible circumstances. On set, he coached the cast on how suspects get frisked, what police ask during arrests, and what it actually feels like to be on the wrong side of the law. After Superfly and a role in Mel Brooks' Blazing Saddles, McGregor dedicated the rest of his life to something extraordinary, traveling the country, visiting schools to counsel young people about the true cost of a life of crime. He co-wrote an autobiography called Up from the Walking Dead. The film, criticized for glamorizing crime, had accidentally cast a man whose real life became a story of genuine redemption. Number 10. The director who died in a plane crash. Gordon Parks Jr. directed Superfly at 30 years old and made one of the most culturally significant films of the decade. 7 years later, he was dead. On April 3, 1979, Parks was in Nairobi, Kenya, working on a new film called Revenge, when a small plane carrying him and 3 crew members crashed shortly after takeoff. He was 44 years old. He came from an extraordinary family. His father, Gordon Parks Sr., had been the first African-American staff photographer at Life magazine and the first black director of a major Hollywood studio film. Parks Jr. had worked as his father's cameraman before directing Superfly, which earned Warner Brothers nearly $25 million internationally. His death cut short a career that had shown a rare ability to capture the authentic pulse of urban street life. The film industry lost a genuinely promising voice, leaving behind a legacy built almost entirely on a single film that still influences filmmakers today. Number 11. The NAACP tried to kill Priest. The NAACP didn't just criticize Superfly. They went directly to Warner Brothers and demanded the ending be reshot so Priest would be punished or killed before the film received wide distribution. Junius Griffin, who led the Hollywood branch of the NAACP, argued that a black protagonist who escaped consequences sent a dangerous message, especially to young viewers who might see Priest's lifestyle as something worth chasing. Director Gordon Parks Jr. refused to budge. His view was almost the exact opposite. Showing Priest escape delivered a message of hope to audiences who felt trapped by poverty and a system stacked against them. Having Priest die, he believed, would only confirm what those audiences already feared. The standoff sparked a broader debate within the African-American community about representation, respectability, and who gets to decide how black life looks on screen. Decades later, that debate still isn't fully resolved. Number 12. He died the same day his film hit DVD. In one of the most haunting coincidences in entertainment history, Ron O'Neal died on the exact same day that Superfly was released on DVD for the first time, January 14, 2004. Warner Brothers issued the long-awaited digital debut. That same morning, O'Neal passed away at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles after a 4-year battle with pancreatic cancer. He was 66 years old. O'Neal had been diagnosed in 2000 and spent his final years knowing his most famous role was about to reach a new generation. The DVD included interviews recorded before his illness became terminal, including reflections where he insisted the blame for the drug culture in Superfly came from outside forces, not from within the black community. He never stopped trying to reframe how people understood the movie. The DVD released on the day of his death would introduce young blood Priest to fans who had been born after the film first came out, ensuring the shadow outlasted the man. Number 13. The star who called his film a drug commercial. Ron O'Neal loved Superfly. He also thought one specific part of it was genuinely dangerous, and he said so publicly. In an interview for E! True Hollywood Story, he singled out the cocaine montage, a series of photographs walking viewers through exactly how 30 kilos of cocaine get prepared, packaged, distributed, and consumed across Harlem. O'Neill looked back at that sequence and said it was so detailed and visually seductive that it functioned as a commercial for cocaine. The painful irony? O'Neill had never used drugs in his life. He was a classically trained theater actor who approached Priest as a dramatic challenge, not personal experience. The press constantly assumed otherwise, and it frustrated him enormously. His public criticism of his own film was rare and courageous. It showed a man who never stopped grappling with the full weight of what he had created. Quick reminder to subscribe if you are enjoying these revelations. And tell me in the comments, do you know any strange fact about this movie that I didn't mention? Let's build the list together. Number 14, the word invented to destroy these films. The word blaxploitation is now used to describe an entire genre of 1970s cinema, but it wasn't created by fans or film critics. It was invented as a weapon, specifically to attack films like Superfly. Junius Griffin, who led the Beverly Hills Hollywood branch of the NAACP, deliberately fused the words black and exploitation in 1972. The term first appeared in print in a Hollywood Reporter story published on August 10, 1972, just days after Superfly's release. Griffin organized protests, formed the Coalition Against Blaxploitation, and called these films a form of cultural genocide, entertainment designed to keep people distracted rather than angry and organized. Here's the irony. The term he invented as a condemnation became the standard way to celebrate these films. Decades later, the movies Griffin tried to kill are considered classics of American cinema. His word survived. His argument didn't. Number 15, the indie film that beat The Godfather. In 1972, The Godfather was one of the most celebrated films in Hollywood history. Major studio, Marlon Brando, Francis Ford Coppola, and for a period that summer, Superfly beat it at the box office. A film made for under $500,000, financed by Harlem businessmen, briefly became the highest-grossing movie in the United States. When Superfly opened in New York, some theaters ran out of tickets while lines still stretched around the block. By year's end, it ranked as the third highest-grossing film of 1972, trailing only The Godfather and the Barbra Streisand comedy What's Up, Doc?, a $500,000 indie standing shoulder to shoulder with the decade's biggest productions. The box office numbers sent a message to Hollywood that African-American audiences represented a massive, underserved market. Whether the industry responded correctly is a longer conversation, but it could no longer be ignored. Number 16, the cameraman who shaped Saturday Night lived the man who shot Superfly, went on to spend 35 years at one of the most iconic shows in television history, and almost nobody ever connected those two things. James Signorelli served as director of photography on Superfly in 1972, using split-screen compositions and multi-image montages that gave the film a visual sophistication unusual for low-budget productions. Just 4 years later, he joined Saturday Night Live. He stayed for 35 years, from 1976 to 2011, producing and directing over 400 episodes. He became the creative force behind SNL's famous commercial parodies and filmed segments. The skills he developed working fast with tight budgets on the streets of Harlem became exactly what live television demanded. The bridge from gritty 1972 crime drama to late-night comedy sounds enormous, but technically, it made perfect sense. Number 17, the original suits are still out there more than 50 years after Superfly hit theaters. Costume designer Nate Adams still owns many of the original suits, shoes, and fedora hats he created for the film. They sit in his personal collection, a physical time capsule of one of cinema's most visually influential moments. Adams came to the production with a fashion show background, which proved essential when building wardrobes that looked expensive on an extremely limited budget. The pieces he preserved, wide lapels, bold colors, dramatic silhouettes, helped define not just the characters in Superfly, but an entire generation's understanding of what power and style looked like on screen. He appeared at the film's 40th anniversary celebration at the Museum of the Moving Image in Queens, and Warner Brothers even dedicated a DVD special feature, Behind the Threads, to his work. Those suits helped launch a visual language that echoed through fashion for decades. Almost at the end, and the best is still coming. Subscribe so you don't miss what's next, and drop your city or country in the comments. I want to see how far this video is reaching. Bonus: the unspoken epilogue of Superfly, and now the story almost nobody tells. The one that works as the film's real ending. The one that proves the danger wasn't just on screen. Carl Lee played Eddie, Priest's partner and best friend. The man who couldn't understand why anyone would ever want to leave the game. He delivers that famous line, "You gonna give all this up?" 8-track stereo, color TV in every room, and you can snort half a piece of dope every day. Carl Lee was already an icon before Superfly. His father was Canada Lee, a celebrated black actor and professional boxer. Filmmaker James Toback once said Carl Lee was for hip people what Sidney Poitier was for mainstream audiences. He had earned an Emmy nomination in 1964 and starred in The Cool World, where he played a character named Priest, years before Superfly. But what the audience never knew was that the world shown in that movie wasn't fiction for Carl Lee, it was his life. While playing a successful dealer on screen, he was privately fighting a severe heroin addiction. From a shared needle, he contracted the AIDS virus. On April 17, 1986, at the age of 59, he died. In the movie, young blood Priest uses his intelligence to walk away a winner, but the man who played his closest partner was consumed by the very life the film portrayed. His death is Superfly's unspoken epilogue, a grim reminder that in the real version of this story, the game doesn't have winners. That's the secret nobody tells. And it's the one that changes everything. And those were 17 facts plus one bonus about Superfly 1972. This film has always been more than entertainment. It's a collection of human experiences more dramatic, more inspiring, and more tragic than any screenplay could capture. The story of a great actor trapped inside his most famous role, a leading lady who conquered a stutter and built a media empire, an ex-convict who became a counselor, a director who died too young, and an icon lost to the very world he portrayed. If you made it this far, leave a like, subscribe, and comment which fact surprised you the most. And don't forget to suggest another movie that deserves a list of strange facts. See you in the next video.